Good morning, everybody. We'll begin today's session now. First question. A cricket team has 10 blue pairs of gloves and 10 white pairs of gloves in a cricket kit. If a batter reaches into the kit and pulls out one glove at a time without looking at it, what is the least number of gloves she must pull out to make sure that she has a pair of gloves of the same color? All right. So here, what we are given here is, we are given here a cricket team. There are 10 blue and 10 white pair of gloves. So there are 10 blue pairs, okay, and 10 white pairs of glove in a cricket kit. If a batter reaches out and pulls out one glove at a time without looking at it, what is the least number of gloves she must pull out to make sure that she has a pair of the same color? You have to be very sure that she has to have a pair of same color, okay? Now, because these are gloves, there's a left glove and there'll be a right glove. So she will have to have one colored left and one colored right pair. So 10 blue pairs will have 10 left blue colored glove plus 10 right blue colored glove. 10 white pairs will have 10 left white colored glove plus 10 right white colored glove. All right. This is how it will be. So, because we have to identify what is the minimum pulls that she will have to do to make sure, to do very sure that she has to have a pair of same color. We imagine a worst case scenario where in the first 10 pulls, she brings out 10 left, say blue colored. So left blue colored glove. Okay. Now in the next 10 pull, she brings out 10 left white colored glove. Once she has done this, she will have all the left and the left glove of blue and white color. So in the next pull, in the next one pull, she will be very sure that there will be one pair of left and white, sorry, left and right of blue or white color. So the total pulls she requires will be 21. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Figure on the left represents a screen from a shadow puppetry show with the arrangement 1 behind the screen. Which of the option will be closest representation of the screen as a result of arrangement 2? So arrangement 1 so 1 is an elephant cutout. So this is an elephant cutout. 2 is a grass cutout. 3 is a tree cutout. And 4 is the light source and 5 is the screen. When this is arranged like this, in this sequence from the and the distance from the light source should be noted here, we are getting this kind of a shadow. तो अरेंजमेंट 2 में जब वो ऐसे अरेंज होता है तब shadow कैसा गिरेगा? What will be the shadow like when they are arranged like this? As we see in arrangement 2 is what we have to find. Okay. In this case, first is the elephant cutout. Elephant cutout आगे था. In arrangement 2, elephant cutout goes back. I mean farther away from the light source. All right. When you have an object that is closer to the light source, its size becomes bigger. If it is away from the light source, its size becomes equivalent to what its actual size is. So smaller. So compared to arrangement 1, arrangement 2 में elephant का cutout छोटा दिखेगा shadow का. Elephant के cutout का shadow छोटा दिखेगा. Okay. So when you look at all the options, A straight away, A and D are wrong because उसमें elephant cutout बड़ा है. They're left with B and C. Okay, for now. Yes, in B it is smaller, but let's just leave that aside for a while. And let's look at the tree cutout because grass cutout का position change नहीं हो रहा है. Grass cutout stays as it is. Tree cutout जो number 3 है, from arrangement 1 and arrangement 2, the tree cutout is more closer to the light source, which means the tree will appear bigger than what we see here. So C में वो वैसा ही है, same size. So correct answer is option B. Okay. We'll move to the next one. A handle was erased from the drawing of a mug. Which of the option represents the part that was erased? Okay. We have erased a handle from a drawing of a mug. We have to identify which is the part that was erased. Now in this case, if I draw the handle, because ये tangent होने वाला है, ये वाला edge आपका बड़ा होगा, ये छोटा होगा. So आपका जो option C है वो गलत है क्योंकि उसमें उल्टा दिया है. Option A भी गलत है because this perspective edge is wrong. B and D में से because ये वाला edge vertical है यहाँ पे, so this edge has to be vertical like this. D वाला जो position है cannot be true. So option B is the one which is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Which of the options will replace the question mark in the sequence? We are given here the question mark. You have to identify which of these options will replace the question mark. Okay. So in this case, if you observe the letters, they are increasing by 5. F, G, H, I, J, K. K is the 5th letter from F. फिर यहाँ पे भी +5 आएगा. इन दोनों के K और U के बीच में 10 का है, so +5 यहाँ पे आना चाहिए, यहाँ पे भी +5 आना चाहिए, and U और Z के बीच में भी 5 का है. So the correct answer is K plus 5 letters will be option C, which is P being the letter which comes in place of the question mark. Okay, we'll move to the next one. 2 of the 3 lines shown below indicate the tracks made by a bicycle. Identify which is the front tire and which is the rear tire track. All right. Here we are given 3 tire tracks. We have to identify which track represents the front tire and which track represents the rear tire. Okay. In this case, in a bicycle, generally what happens is the front wheel जो होता है is directly connected to the handle of the cycle. So it is responsible, it is directly responsible for twist and turns. So sharper turns front wheel में for front wheel के track में आएंगे versus the back wheel will follow those turns. It's always the case. So we'll have to first observe where do we see maximum twist, maximum turning curvatures happening. Obviously in this case purple one looks like the one, but एक जगह पे conflict आ रहा है purple वाले case में यहाँ पे, where neither the green nor the blue follow the purple track. So we can surely say that purple is not a part of the bicycle track at all. Between blue and green, blue is the one with more kind of a curvatures and green is the one which is following the blue curve at all the places, but with a smoother one, which is the characteristics of a rear track. So green will be the rear one and blue will be the front track, front wheel track. So the correct answer will be green is rear and ये purple वाला तो we have eliminated, A and D. So green is rear and blue is in the front is option C. B is the wrong answer. So correct answer is option C. Okay. We'll move to the next one. An artwork on a paper creates an illusion of a ladder resting on a wall when the paper is folded and viewed from a specific angle as shown in the image. We're getting this kind of an view when we fold the paper and look at it from one angle. Which of the option correctly depicts the artwork on the paper when unfolded, sorry. Okay. So here if you observe the shadow is making a right angle. So when you place it on the ground, when the sheet is placed on the ground here, shadow का सीधा line में आएगा. So option A गलत है और D भी गलत है. Between B and C, ये वाला distance change हो रहा है. ये थोड़ा distort हो रहा है यहाँ पे, where this distance is slightly bigger than this distance, versus C में वो same constant रह रहा है. If you look at the question figure, this dimension and this dimension, they are the same. So B is wrong and C is the one which is the correct answer. Okay. Move to the next one. On a racetrack shown below, choose the correct starting configuration. The athletes are not allowed to change tracks and each grid is 2 meter by 2 meter. Athletes cannot change the track and the grid is 2 by 2 meters. This grid is 2 by 2 meters. Okay. So here we know the finish line may all athletes are lined up together. We have to identify starting position kya hoga of all the options. Now here the starting position depends on, let's look at the maximum, ये extreme bahar wala और ये wala दोनों athlete. So this is one and athlete two. So when athlete one takes a shorter curvature, यहाँ पे athlete two आपका बड़ा curvature ले रहा है. फिर both are traveling the same and then the athlete two which was taking the longer curvature here takes the equivalent curvature of athlete one. And athlete one जो छोटा curvature यहाँ पे ले रहा था takes an equivalent curvature here of athlete 2. So that is how they get counter. Another counter also happens here, जो ये वाला curvature ये वाला curvature का counter होगा. जो athlete जब athlete 2 ये छोटा curvature लेगा एक side, तो दूसरी side वो दूसरा बड़ा curvature लेगा. वैसे ही athlete 1 who takes a bigger curvature here will take a smaller curvature here. So that gets countered. यहाँ पे भी वो काउंटर हो जाता है. So obviously it means that at the finish line all athletes have to be lined up together. Correct answer is option C. Okay, we'll move to the next one. These two grids are overlapped around each other, then what is the resultant figure? When these two grids are overlapped around each other, what do we get the resultant figure? Okay, in this case when you compare all the options together, you'll find one very distinct part in option A, this angle. यहाँ पे दो blue है, yellow, blue, yellow, blue and yellow, blue. In the question figure, what will be there? और ये वाला जो part है यहाँ पे yellow, blue दिख रहा है, so A गलत है. Between B, C and D again, when I try to compare all the options together, there's one peculiar thing which is different, is option C में the blue this blue diagonal that is there, B, C or D, C or B or D का position ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है. Okay, actually that happens here. ये यहाँ पे black आना चाहिए, C में वो interchange हो रहा है, so C गलत है. Between B and D, when you again try to compare all the options together, you will find that the red diagonal here is a little bit different क्योंकि D में वो red और yellow है. ये वाला जो position है red is here, यहाँ पे yellow आएगा. So correct answer is option B to be wrong and D is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. In the given series, first is an equilateral triangle. This is an, let's write it, equilateral triangle. Second is a square. The third piece becomes a regular pentagon without any rotations. And similarly, the fourth becomes a hexagon, a regular hexagon. Which of the option given therefore replaces the question mark? All right. An equilateral triangle, a square, a pentagon, and a hexagon. We are given that, and if you observe the way they come together, there is some similarity. Like for example, जो option 2 में हो रहा है, this edge will be merged with this edge, जिसमें ये आगे आ जाता है. Likewise, in the third figure also, this edge will be merging with this edge, where this comes in front and this gets placed on top of it. Like this. This comes in front. Then this triangle further gets placed on top of it. उसके ऊपर. So that we are looking for that same arrangement also for making a hexagon. In option A, if you observe, A में ये दोनों parts एक दूसरे से join हो जाता है, which is a direct linkage, which is not possible क्योंकि we are looking at this kind of a linkage that happens here. So A गलत है. B में it is actually a problematic thing because B में ये वाला edge जो है और ये वाला edge जो है वो एक दूसरे के साथ आ रहा है, not the second and the third figure, not the first and the second figure, so B गलत है. With case of option C, which is fine, this edge comes on top of this edge here, like this. ये वाला जो हेक्सागन का पार्ट है वो ऊपर आ जाता है इसके ऊपर, एंड देन उसके भी ऊपर आपका ये आ जाता है. सो सी इज करेक्ट. With case of option D, it's point joining together and then this coming on top. So the arrangement is not in alignment with what is happening in 2 and 3. So D is also wrong. C is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. 5 small triangles of equal sizes are fitted in a large triangle as shown below. Approximately what percent of the area in the large triangle is empty? We have to find the empty space percentage. Okay. So this is how the arrangement will be of the which shows a correlationship between the smaller triangle and the bigger triangle. So if it's a smaller triangle, which is a gray area is of x area, assuming, तो बड़ा वाला ट्राइंगल जो होगा वो आपका 9x का होगा because it comprises of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9 pieces, so 9x. And if you look at it, the filled pieces are 5 filled pieces. So 5x is the area of the gray part, so white will be 9x minus 5x, which is 4x. So percentage that we are looking at will be 4x upon 9x into 100, which comes approximately 44.44%. So B is the correct answer. Okay, we'll move to the next one. A frame of bouncing ball is shown in the picture. This shows the animation principle of straightforward. It's a bouncing ball. It will be squashing first and then being stretched like this. So the correct answer is option C, squash and stretch. Okay, move to the next one. 2 paper loops are joined together as shown in the figure below. If you cut the loops along the blue dotted line, what will be the resultant figure? When you cut the loop along the dotted line, what will be the resultant figure? When I cut the loop now, when I cut this loop, what I will find is when I cut this loop along this line, when I cut it, I'll be able to get 4 corners. All right. Ye, or ye. There's only one figure with 4 corners, which is option D. So all these 4 corners correspond to this part. So the correct answer is D. Okay. We'll move to the next one. Reference image of a square pyramid P is provided on the left. Assume Q as an identical pyramid created by mirroring P in an upward direction. Q was rotated by 133 degree. Q was rotated by 135 degree around a vertical axis, then brought down as the 2 pyramids intersect. Which of the option is the resultant view as seen from the given direction arrow? Q is an identical pyramid as P and is placed above, and then it is rotated 135 degree along the vertical axis and is brought down. Then we have to identify what will be the view. You look at the option D, so 135 degree rotate किया है, तो एक ट्राइंगल का अगर एलिवेशन ऐसा होगा तो दूसरे ट्राइंगल का एलिवेशन कुछ ऐसा होगा. Because the triangle is rotated by 135 degree, so the edge is the one which will be seen here versus एक का सिर्फ facade दिखेगा. Okay. Now, so that way option D is wrong. C में दोनों के एज दिख रहे हैं तो वो भी गलत है. Between A and B if you observe, एक चेंज है. A में ये dimension और ये dimension अलग है. This is more and this is less, versus in B they are same. Now when I rotated 135 degree and when I looking at it from this edge, for example, I will be looking at the diagonal, this diagonal dimension. In a square, the diagonal is always bigger than the side. So B is wrong and A is the correct answer. जहाँ पे ये dimension आपका बड़ा है because you're looking at towards the diagonal direction, which forms the edge, and the shorter one comes here, which is this one. Okay, so answer is A. We'll move to the next one. Which letter is never used while printing the calendar, mentioning names of all the days of the week and months in full form. W, G, K, or B. Okay. Here we all know W comes in Wednesday. G comes in August. V comes in November. So C is the correct answer, K. Okay. We'll move to the next one. Consider the configuration in the given figure. If rotating and flipping are not allowed, rotating and flipping are not allowed, and pieces given in an option need not be placed in the given sequence, you can reorganize. That's okay. Which combination would complete maximum number of horizontal black rows? You have to get maximum number of horizontal black rows. Using which of these configurations of the option can we get maximum black rows? Rotating and flipping is not allowed, but you can all rearrange the blocks. You can take these blocks as it is and you can place them wherever you want. Like a Tetris puzzle. So here, this is how the arrangement will be. The correct answer is option C. This part comes here. This part comes here. ये वाला जो part है comes here. ये वाला जो part है comes here. So we can fill at least 3 black lines. So C is the correct answer. Okay. We'll move to the next one. 2 identical cubes P and Q are made up of smaller cubes 3 by 3 by 3 and 5 by 5 by 5. P और Q are identical cubes, which means इन दोनों का ये वाला surf edge same होगा x, any x. And one is a 3 by 3 by 3 division and another is a 5 by 5 by 5 division. Alternate cubes are painted green and white, which we have seen. Identify the correct options. The options that are there are related to the surface area of green and white. Okay. So let's assume x to be 15 here. Why 15? 3 or 5 है, तो दोनों का LCM is 15. 3 and 5 का LCM is 15. So in the 3 by 3 by 3 cube, this will be a 5 by 5 smaller square, and in the 5 by 5 cube, this will be a 3 by 3. 3 by 3 का square, small square. Okay. So let's start with P. P का area हम गिनेंगे. For P, green का area will be what? Green in P, green का 1 square area is 5 by 5. एक जो face है आपका इतना, ये आपका जो इतना face है, this is one face. ये वाले face में आपके 5 green squares है, so multiply by 5. ऐसे आपके 6 faces होंगे, so multiply by 6. This will be equal to 750. Okay. For white, white will be again 5 by 5 small square का area. 4 cubes है, 1 2 3 4 white वाले, and then 6 faces ऐसे. The answer will be 600. Okay. Now we'll do Q. In Q, green का area. Green का area आपका एक square का is 3 by 3. ऐसे कितने squares है green के? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 and 13. So there are 13 squares. Multiply by 6 such faces. एक face में आपके 13 है, ऐसा एक face है जिसमें 13 green squares है, ऐसे 6 faces. Okay. So this will be equal to 702. Now we'll look at white. White also 1 cube is 3 by 3. White के जो color है वैसे 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. There are 12 such cubes in one face and 6 such faces. This will be equal to 648 cubes. Okay. So when you look at the areas, we find that surface area of green is more in P. Surface area of green is more in P than in Q. So A is the correct answer. बाकी जो भी ऑप्शंस है we can just cross check it once. Surface area of white is more in P. No, white में कम है, Q में ज्यादा है. Surface area of green and white are same in P and Q. That is also wrong. Surface area of green is same, but the area of white is different. Even that is wrong. Okay. So only option A is correct here. Okay. We'll move to the next one. Image shows the top view of an L-shaped sculpture resting on a planar ground. This is an L-shaped sculpture, ये red वाला line, resting on a ground. When light falls on it at an angle of 45 degree from the ground in the direction marked as the arrow, the corresponding shadows are formed on the ground. What is the option? Which of the option is the sculpture? Light 45 degree से यहाँ से आ रही है और यहाँ से आ रही है. And then we are getting these two shadows on the ground, which is a sculpture. Okay. In this case, when I try to construct ये वाला corresponding site, ये वाला जो part है उसका shadow actually यहाँ पे ये वाला जो part है, this shadow will actually be formed like this towards the internal edge. ये वाला कॉमन एज के साइड फेसिंग. सो बी में का सही है, डी में भी सही है, ए में गलत है, सी में भी गलत है. Between B and D, when you compare, you can just look at this part because that is different. Or if you just want to stay on the ground, we can actually look at this part, that is easier. ये वाला जो part है वो यहाँ पे आएगा, इसका आएगा, वो ऐसे आएगा यहाँ पे corresponding. So the correct answer is option D. B will be wrong. Okay. With this, I will end today's session here. Thank you so much for your time.